We are the legacies of modernism. Modern architecture is considered to constitute a radically altered approach to design which emerged in response to the rapid industrialisation of Europe in the early 20th century. Artists and architects sought the eradication of the old spirit, the individual, and pursued the embodiment of a new spirit, the universal. Modernist groups such as the Bauhaus and Die Stil emerged with a new energy. Theo van Doesburg, the founder of Die Stil, began by exploring three-dimensional spaces in axonometric projection. Through a series of close, analytical, and propositional spatial exercises, we were to contend with the legacy of early European modernism. As a studio, we were asked to engage with the role of theory and idea as driving forces in the formation and realisation of an architectural project. By observing van Doesburg's space-time constructions, we took three spatial languages, volumetric, planar, and grid, and built models inspired by them. In parallel with this, we developed our own manifestos, for some, a continuation of conflicted emergences, and others, a reactionary contrast to the idea of the modernist movement.
According to 1980 That's2 Manifesto 1, the new art is more focused on universal instead of individual. It's widely applied in most of the capital city. It somehow provides the construction method, material, and the style are the new standard for an important city. Especially every country tries to build the highest skyscraper and challenge in the new construction way. Also, some of them may emphasize the outer appearance than the inner layout, such as 13 St. Mary Axis. Its unique form is really attractive, but most of the office worker highlights the circle floor layout is difficult to arrange room and table. Direction is hard to recognize and it lets the user get lost easily. Although the modernism focuses on the circulation and interaction between the building and the user, current building may not pay as much attention as the original thoughts. It just becomes a competition on the new technology and attractive outer appearance.
Architecture has certain cultural values and aesthetic values. The continuous development of art affects the changing forms of architecture and the integration of contemporary art and architecture. Abstract art conveys to us a spirit of breaking through the traditional framework of materializing rational and consciousness. Architecture is gradually turning away from the arbitrary and picturesque, the capricious and disorderly, and is turning towards constructive necessity and mathematical order. The art of the present, and in particular painting, has been victorious on the whole. Consciousness has overcome the flat surface and advanced to the art creation in space. Through spatial consciousness, painting has developed into the constructive creation of form. The conversion from abstract art to architecture can be translated into different architectural languages: point, line, plan, and volume. 2 points from a line, 2 lines from a plan, and 2 plans from a volume, and all together form the space, and the painting on the three-dimensional canvas.
There is no limitation for space. Space should be driven by occupants. Less is more. Simplicity and purity of modernism, breaking down the social hierarchy, breaking down the social barriers. Universal space brings occupants together, create a more fluid social relation. It is fake but addictive. The less you see, the more you found. With imagination, there should be no boundary for architecture.
In the Die Stil Manifesto, Duisburg and Mondrian say to us that individual predominance should die and the new consciousness should shift towards the universal. We should leave our understanding of natural and traditional and develop a new world of unsentimental rational thinking. Now looking back at those times, we can see how the pain of the First World War and inequality of people in the society made them want to create this universal utopian world, which turned out to be dystopian in some aspects and abused by the fascist regime in particular. But the new arts and crafts that have influenced every artist, sculptor, writer, and architect back then shifted our controversial society the way it is right now. It's nor bad or good, it's nor old or new. It is challenging, and now we can only guess how our new individualistic society will live through another cultural revolution and create a new wave of new universal arts of the 21st century.
Art has always had a close relationship to architecture. The art in architecture can be shown in many aspects. In scale, the arrangement of space, the mixture and use in materiality, objects and decorations inside the building. For a long time after Renaissance, art has been forgotten in the industry and have finally been brought back in the modern architecture. The Bauhaus claimed that art in architecture should overlay and almost be the same. Though, what is architecture? It is the combination of abstract art and physical structure. It is not enough to only merge art into architecture, as why art could be anything. It does not have to make sense and could totally be abstract. Architecture should also come with function, usable, in order to fulfill the needs of users. It should not be something people enjoy to look at, but also can be used and experienced in within.
The 20th century have opened the floodgates of technology and science breakthroughs that keeps on continuing now. Looking at the modernist buildings, where the outside is plain and deprived of ornaments, with the palette of luxurious materials used inside, instantly evokes the saying, "It is what is inside that counts." However, it is naive to expect it to work at all times for architecture. Nowadays, especially the housing architecture, seems to be a part of mass production where the same flat is designed for a newly married couple as well as a large family. The interior and exterior architecture is dissociated, and in my belief, it should create the whole and explore the infinity of solutions to suit the specific needs of the inhabitants.
Architecture, art, and technology were once inseparable beings, where architects design and innovate the glamorous buildings, celebrating the prosperity of humanity through the age of time. However, art may seem to be lost in this modern period, where function is followed by form. The strive for beauty is deceived by profit. Uniqueness is replaced by the generic. The topic of universal and individual has become controversial when architecture becomes standalone art and technology. When the flatness starts to dominate the topography of modern buildings. What role does the architect have in a time when art is minimalized? They should indeed be the one that design and innovate in order to tackle the constraints by cost and budget. From making and crafting shop, the architects be learned from the basics again. Integrating technology and art once more, from then will we see the light in architecture again.